Where we do have a little bit of interesting breaking news for the Rangers supporters out there, Dan, is that I believe things are moving quickly now with Muscat. He's through the interview stage, is over for him, and I think it's moved on. It's cranked up a level into proper contractual negotiations, and I think that's the clearest indicator yet that Rangers have selected him as the preferred candidate. And barring some sort of late unexpected collapse, you would think that one is now, edging really into the really close zone now. Danny Rowe has been put on hold, but is still there on standby, effectively, still in contention. And I think they would probably have to explore that avenue again if something wasn't to get over the line with Kevin Muscat. But it looks, to all intents and purposes, I would expect Rangers to be in a position over the next 24 hours, perhaps as soon as that. Well, as soon as that. It's not really as soon as that, is it? This has been a long, drawn-out process again. But I think we're into the end game now, and it looks more and more certain to me that Kevin Muscat will emerge as the victorious candidate from this. Now, whether or not that means that he's able to get over here, in the coming days, probably unlikely because of the situation that he's got with Shanghai Port, and they're contesting at the top end of the table for the Chinese Super League. That there is no clarity on what the starting date would look like, or whether he'd be prepared to leave. What we have heard from Asia today is that Shanghai Port have been made aware of the Rangers' interest in the last 24 hours and have actually begun the process of selecting, Kevin Muscat's replacement. So where they've got an ability to see round corners and do a bit of forward succession planning.
That will never catch you on, Jack.
It wouldn't surprise you if they actually make the appointment of their new manager before Rangers have confirmed Kevin Muscat.
That would be fun.
But that, so it is all pointing towards it's really getting into the closing stages, the final furlong here. Although this being Rangers expect the unexpected, we've learnt that over the period as well.
Well, in the comments, they are coming in. Please get involved in the conversation. Scott David says, "Who's taking charge of the game on Saturday then? Anyone know?"
Well, that is part of it. Scott, I'll say what I know on this, and then you can, obviously weigh in. From my understanding, what we wrote this time last night, is that Neil McCann had been identified previously by Kevin Muscat as the guy he wanted to assist him, be his right-hand man at Rangers, if he had been successful 2 years ago when he was up against Philippe Clement and Frank Lampard for the job. Obviously, I think wrongly, Rangers went with Clement. I think they should have gone with Muscat at that time. But that's like a kind of secret agreement from 2 years ago, which stands strong to this day. If Kevin Muscat gets it, Neil McCann will come in, probably as his assistant boss, and that means there is this opportunity of a sort of temporary fix to the situation, that if this was concluded within the next day, then I think Neil McCann has already been primed and is aware that he could step into the dugout on Saturday for the visit of Dundee United. Failing an agreement, then as things stands, it's the under-19s coach, Stevie Smith. And if the Rangers board don't realise how that will go down with their own supporters, then they're in for a shock when they turn up at Ibrox at the weekend. Scott?
No, certainly that was the line today, like the kind of official line, if you like, for the club, that as much as clearly this is it's a priority to try and get a manager in place before the weekend. That was the priority when the international break started. And now here we are a few days before, and they're still kind of scrambling about trying to get it done. But the official line is, look, they're on it. They want to get something done before the weekend. But if they can't get something in place, they do seem fairly comfortable with the fact that Stephen Smith would take the team for Saturday. He's obviously been taking training this week alongside Brian Gilmer, who's obviously in there as well. I think I'm right in saying, is it Rhys Owen, who was there under Russell Martin, fitness guy? I think he's still there, along with the goalie coach, working with the players. So, look, my gut feeling is I agree with Jack. I mean, I tend to think they'll probably try and get this Muscat deal done. Therefore, have Neil McCann in place for Saturday because, with all due respect to Stevie Smith, I don't think that would be an ideal situation for the club to get into a really important game at Ibrox with one of the youth coaches in charge. However, the way this is going, this kind of saga at Rangers, it wouldn't surprise you too much if they end up in that situation. They don't get this over the line before the weekend.